Well, good afternoon or good evening if you're in the USA, and if you're overseas, it's nighttime, or if you're in the Pacific Rim, it's super Saturday morning already. I am Bruce, aka Mr. Simpler, Faster, Better, or a lot of people know me on LinkedIn here as the guy in the blue shirt, and I am so honored to introduce you to Diana. She's up in Durant, Oklahoma, and we were just chit-chatting about whether I'd been there or not, and I had. So good to see you, Diana. So tell us a little bit about what you're up to there, and we're going to share some interesting conversations around just some of your late career learning, right?
Yes, yes. And yeah, I'm not sure as far as late career learning. I never think anybody should have a timeline. There's no demarcations in anybody's life.
Mhm.
So, wherever you are is where you're supposed to be.
Right.
We started talking because I had signed up. I'm going to be getting my master's online with
Right.
Southeastern Oklahoma University, State University. So SOSU, Southeastern. Whoop, whoop.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's something that I wanted to do anyways. Um, my grandmother had always raised me to believe that you have to continuously be improving, and
Hmm.
one of that is the acronym that she had given, which is LIL. So LIL, and that's living is learning and learning is living.
Yeah.
And to break that up, so living is learning, you really can't be living if you're not learning because you're not thriving, you're not you become complacent, you become sedentary, and when you're learning, you're thriving, you're moving, you're growing, and you have that growth mindset. It just keeps you rejuvenated,
Right.
and you just really can't have one without the other.
Yeah.
So,
So a few points of common ground there that obviously your passion for continuous improvement was also a part of our lively discussion when we first met and talked offline. And it's a great example of the power of, when you cross engage with people's contents here, you meet some really great people if you take time to go offline. And that's what we did. And so part of the common ground is yes, we both have a background in CI or continuous improvement, and then the other common ground is that the you know living or learning is living. That is a new adventure for me. I was kind of stuck, like a lot of people in their latter part of their career, and 2 years ago, I purposely set out to do some different things and. I worked with a coach who was purposely in a different generation to me so that he would kind of yank me out of the past, as it were, and put me into the future or the present and then
mhm.
the future. So, yeah, and it's been a great learning and living opportunity for sure. And a lot of people don't know, but 2 years ago this month, I wouldn't even take selfies. So I was like anti photography. I was anti-social in many ways, and the thought of being in the public eye was like it was earth-shattering to me, and it used to drain my energy over and over because we were talking offline about behavior. I'm actually a introvert by nature, but learned to be a little bit more extroverted as I've learned more along the way. So it's kind of a little bit of my shared common ground. And so, what is it you're going to be doing? I know you're close to the football stadium as well for the university. You've mentioned that. So, you're going to be watching football, I'm sure, right?
Um, yeah, I'll try to get a few games in, but at this point, now that I've signed up, it's just like, hook, line, and sinker. I am going to be studying like crazy, and I really do love to study. That's where I got into this area, anyways. I am constantly learning and looking at things. LinkedIn is like amazing for finding connections, and then those connections, they advise you to do other get this book or get
Mhm.
this link and look at something. And so, that's how I found so many people here. Pauline Wynn,
Mhm.
she's wonderful. She actually has some meditation things that I use for
Right.
calming down, help me go to sleep. And Mary Beth Hyland, she has a book out right now, her new book. And so yeah, I've got all these Kindle books, and I'm simultaneously reading it. One of the things that I had learned through a connection in LinkedIn was the impact theory. Are you familiar with that, with Tom Ballou?
I'm
Billy?
not. I'm not. But
Oh,
before we go into the power of LinkedIn, Gracie Ruth Melendez has joined. I met Gracie at actually a LinkedIn local in person in
oh,
Los
hi,
Angeles.
Gracie.
Yeah, she's and that's how we first met. And she also was a founding force in my hashtag, the guy in the blue shirt, because that's how she used to refer to me, because
Oh, okay.
because that's always been my brand anchor color. But when I'm in public, then I usually wear the bright blue shirt. And I got a fun shirt on for you. I got Mickey Mouse today. I thought we, mix it up a little bit.
Yeah, make it a happy place.
Make it a happy place. And it's interesting because your acronym LILLIL, and you mentioned LinkedIn. Well, LinkedIn's acronym is LI as well. So I don't know if you pieced that
Oh,
together.
no, I didn't. No,
And
I
then,
didn't.
yeah, and then the other thing, before you introduce the person you were talking about, I look at LinkedIn. It's like a global university. I learn globally and so many different aspects of life that I was clueless about. So, I get all my news, I get all my latest updates from, being a daily contributor on LinkedIn. So anyway, over to what you were going to say about the impact theory. Hi, Gracie.
Yes, hi from Los Angeles. I was just outside of Los Angeles most of my life. I was lived in Rancho Cucamonga. Good
Oh,
place.
okay, cool. Yeah, that's in Orange County. I used to go there a lot, so as well. So see,
Yeah,
both of you find common ground in the conversation.
yeah. I've only been out in Durant, Oklahoma for the past 5 years, and it's beautiful out here too, for sure. But yeah, what I was looking into, that I had already started studying is with the impact theory with Tom Bilyeu, and
Mhm,
he had interviewed a neuroscientist. And
mhm,
some people know him. He's pretty well known. His name is Moran Cerf.
mhm.
And so he was talking about neuroplasticity. And, a lot of people, I think, really could benefit from knowing, just knowing that you can retrain your brain.
Yeah,
And that's a big part of overcoming, things like imposter syndrome, or getting negative, or all the different habits that we kind of human condition we're human conditioned to where we don't even realize that we've built up. And then now here we are, where we can do steps so that way we can stop the negative. That was a Bruce Lee thing,
yeah, right.
where it where he says, when you get a negative thought, just put on a piece of paper, and I think he says crumple it up or throw it away, kind of thing.
Mhm,
But yeah, you just keep stopping that kind of energy. And then it's kind of like, because I hike a lot, and so I use that analogy for that neural pathway, is that when you have this path that you stop using, you're going to have to bushwhack to get through it,
right.
and your brain wants to go to the easier pathway. So the more you think of the pathway that you want to go to, your brain's going to go to it, because it's just been built in and practiced that much more.
Right. Well, another area of common ground you won't be aware of. You said imposter syndrome. So I have a wonderful connection who I met through Gracie Ruth. So this is going to be a series of coincidences here, or purposeful connections. I don't believe in coincidences. So Dr. Asia Ghazi has just finished her
Mhm.
advanced leadership studies at Pepperdine, and one of her passions is helping, influential women leader with imposter syndrome. So if you don't know her, I would love to introduce you to her. She's a wonderful connection. She's also in Southern California, but amazing young leader with a lot of influence, a lot of passion around that whole, sharing how to deal with imposter syndrome, and really particularly helping ladies in the leadership in the STEM world. So I really need to introduce you. So I can do that offline. And
yeah, most definitely. And someone who just popped on right now is Sandy, who's like literally my best friend. She has been my mentor, my encourager. She's just an amazing lady. I wish we could live closer. We both knew each other when I was living in Rancho Cucamonga.
Right.
And now she just recently moved, I believe, over towards Vegas area.
Yeah, she's
I'm from Vegas. There we go.
Hey,
yay! Hi, Sandy.
It's not that far, not these days. Hey, I'm in Tempe, Arizona, so we're about halfway to Vegas, and so thanks for supporting, Sandy. So hey, you have to give us some scoop on Diane here in the comments.
Yeah, so that's one thing, as far as to thrive is to build your tribe, and you definitely try to build ones that are very much like Gracie and Sandy, where
Right.
they're there to help lift you, which I think is like the highest form of achievement you can have as a lifetime achievement, is building up for other people, because it just, as we had talked about that, it just comes from tenfold.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's funny because I lived in the Dallas-Fort Worth area for a long time, and when I did first start my networking days, a lady called Dee Leahy introduced me to a really fine group of people, and she used to say to me, Bruce, remember, this community is all about give before you get, and don't have any expectations of getting anything until you've kind of done your time. So she used to always point out to me, you never know what's going to come back around after you contribute and help other people, and eventually it comes back to you full circle. And Dee Dee was a wonderful example of that, and we still stay in touch now. And that was back in 2000, and somewhere between 2008 2009. So it's been a long time, and it's interesting how that whole circular thing works out. If you work it and believe in it, it really happens. So
yeah, and because we were talking about being altruist, and I really do. You said you don't believe that it happens by randomness, that
right.
things happen for a reason. I believe the same thing. I think altruists are getting to the point that we are uniting more and more. I think this pandemic had got to a point where everybody started looking intrinsically and seeing what their purpose is. And I even think that connection is happening to where it's starting to go into like a new industrial revolution. It's like, where's your authenticity? Where is your values? And I feel like the industry now is really kind of taking a new look at things. There's I have old and new friends on LinkedIn. There's a Monty Peterson and Harry Spate. They do speak a lot when it comes to connecting the purpose from the associate to the company. And I think that's a big part of it, because it's not just a matter of, let's make the customer happy, but let's spread smiles, let's spread happiness. Let's have the associates feel a part of that, about feeling valued and feeling like they're really giving something when they give that customer service, because you're talking from the heart. If you really have a product that you believe in and you're proud of, then you can connect with people, and then there is no sale.
Yeah, so maybe I didn't plan to do this, but it came up. I went to a workshop with 𝒕💂💏, and you mentioned about being, purposeful and really passionate about your objectives. So she had us write on 2 different rocks. So this is the 2021. My passion is to be more open and be more at ease. So LinkedIn Live definitely teach me that. And then my long-term one on a different rock is, this is what I'm really all about. It's being a catalyst.
Nice.
That served me. That served me decade after decade after decade. So I find that, when I get lost or when I get stuck, I have these 2 rocks in front of me on my computer stand now. So, I'll pick them up and play with them. And, and it's funny. It's almost like they've got the energy inside them now. And I know people might think, oh, that's a little woohoo or woo-woo, but it works. It works for me, and if it works for somebody else, then I would encourage them to do that. Put your short-term one on one type of rock, and your ultimate one or your long-term one on another piece of rock, and just have them close by. And then
That's very cool. I will do that. I'll put it in my garden. That sounds nice. I love having motivational things around me because it does help you to focus. It helps you kind of brightens your day. It reminds you to keep those things so that way you have that fallback to look at.
Absolutely, and Gracie's right. She is a whiz at building community. So yes, build a community, and it doesn't matter what the community's called or what it looks like. You will attract people, and it's interesting because I've been talking with some other people that have been doing a lot of work on building their own communities, and the percentages are about the same. I find that only about 8 to 10% of the people that I ever talk to are ever gonna get what I'm all about. And it doesn't mean the rest of the people aren't nice and good people. They are. It's just that they're not as well matched to you as other people are. So, and a lot of people probably don't necessarily realize that the percentage is that low. So, it takes time to build that inertia. It takes time to build that synergy, and what I find is once you've got it with those people, then you really need to support them as much as they need, and make sure that you're there just in case. So that's what I've learned from that kind of give before you get, that whole thing, and the whole community building is super critical. So
Yeah. I mean, I don't even have a product, but I'm like, hey, Marianne, I think you'd like to talk to Marianne, or and I'm connecting people on the backside with the DMs and stuff, and
right.
and I think it's a really neat thing to do because it's like, hey, he's interested in this, and this person's interested in this, and I put those connections together, and I think it's a really awesome thing to do.
Right. Well, I know you're into being very mindfulness and about a growth mentality as well. And what I find is that the more people, the more dots you can join that are more like-minded and then have a chance of really hitting it off with each other. I mean, to me, that's a very powerful piece of being mindful, being aware, and actually just paying it forward a little bit. And I know I've introduced some amazing people to other amazing people, and sometimes I've not gotten it quite right, but that's how it's back to the life is learning and learning is life, or learning is life and life is learning, right? You don't know.
Without the other.
Yeah, that's right. And people get stuck in their own way sometimes. They get stuck in their own shell, and
Yeah.
go ahead.
I really feel like we can get to start learning this at earlier and earlier um, uh, ages of our life, because I think there's a lot of young kids that they're just making these negative narratives, and it's like they need to know at the very beginning, to rewrite their narrative and really reinforce it. Don't listen to people who are negative. Don't listen to anybody, whether it's family or friends or anything. If you're in an environment where there's negativity that's being placed on you, you need to shut them out and find another tribe, get away from them. And even if it's yourself, you have these kids that are, there's a high suicidal. You want to reach out to them and just say, just go for that extra day and rewrite your negative narrative. You are so much better than, well, you're a gift. I did this in an art project one time, where I had these little buttons, and it's like, you have these millions of sperm that go to that egg. It's like you were born a winner, right? It's like,
Yeah.
so just keep being a champion, and just keep being yourself, and be authentic, and learn to love yourself, and learn to ground yourself, get away from a negative energy, go to that positive reinforcement, build your tribe, even if it has to be away from family and friends. Unfortunately, you have to make new family and friends to just keep getting stronger and stronger and better and better.
Yeah, those are the hardest ones. I know, until I moved to the USA, it was, well, number one, my close family that were close then have kind of never forgiven me to move to the USA. But what I realized, and people would say to me, well, why are you so much happier here? And it was because I was in the wrong place, right? And
right.
Even though that's hard to say it, and I know that's hurtful to family members that believe they did everything they could to make it okay, it wasn't okay for me. And breaking away and having to sever some of those, the burden of guilt, that's, for me, that's the hardest thing that they put on me at my, back in 1994, was that whole burden of guilt, and severing the lines between moving forward and being tugged out on the guilt strings. That is the hardest one. So
it really is. I mean, it's such a hard line to divide, because you want to love your family, you want to love your friends, but if you think of the analysis of two plants, and one is watering and constantly watering and nourishing that other plant, but the
right.
plant that's been watering is not getting in nutrition, then they can't help themselves.
Right.
So it has to start. Everything has to begin with your internal intrinsic growth. And
Right.
once you can go from there, then you have the energy to give everybody else. But if someone's taking your energy from you, you don't have the energy for yourself, and you won't have the energy to give and spread to everybody else.
Yeah, it's funny because I'm in Tempe, Arizona now, and I like, the weather's kind of nice. I like having the doors open, but what I didn't realize, there's a lot of flies and mosquitoes here. So I bought one of those energy, one of those zappers. So the analogy around, whenever I hear, a little mosquito get zapped by it, I think, yep, he's at least taking all that negative energy out of the air. And I love the fresh air by having the doors open. So so it's the same thing, it's, you don't realize how much people are zapping your energy, and the noise that creates is very distracting as well. And again, you don't realize not only the energy drain, but how much focus you're losing because of the distraction. So twofold for me. And it's, I fall back to my old ways. I'm way less than perfect. And
none of us are. When they had mental awareness day, someone, it was a lot of people were putting on LinkedIn, I have this affliction or this affliction. And it's like, we all have something,
Right.
we all have some kind of disorder. And, you have to everyone, all humans have to work on whatever the issues are that they have, and then just celebrate the wholenesses that we have as well.
Yeah. Minimize the issues and leverage off your unique strengths and talents. But it takes a while to get there. I mean, I'm a more mature person in some ways. In other ways, I'm still a boy. I'm just like lost sometimes because And that little boy blue lost, you know, and I am lost.
Yeah, well, everybody has it. It's, you have that ego, and it always kind of always wants to take center space, and that's where you go into nature. You get into those quiet moments where you can kind of kick that ego out, because a big part of your ego is your inner child. It's that part of you that you haven't quite tamed.
Right. Well,
A little bratty child that keeps rearing its head up, and you're wanting to say, "Okay, be quiet now."
right. Yeah, my negative voice, I call him Chipmunk Charlie. He's just, so he's like and it's funny you should say that, because I went for I try and go for like a 5-minute walk before I do my lives to help re-energize myself after a long day of work ahead of doing my lives. And it's been too hot until recently to do that here, but today I went for a little walk and I was looking at my Mickey Mouse shirt and I thought, well, I better change into a polo shirt. And the other part of me was saying, no, Diane will find that fun, and whoever. And so, I talked myself out of it, even though, my positive guy was saying, no, you got to look more professional. And it's like, no, I just want to be Mickey Mouse today. Why not? Right?
Yes, most definitely. Go for comfort. Go for what feels good.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, talking of going for comfort, something that really inspired me after our offline chit chats we had before you agreed to become a live guest is I'm really inspired by the fact that you've decided to go back to take a full up MBA, right? Is that correct?
Yes, I'm
So
I'm
for
going all in, and I can't believe I'm telling people this, because it was going to be kind of a secret.
uh,
But
well, to me, it's inspiring because I'm thinking, oh my gosh, maybe I should go all in on something that, I've been meaning to do. So you got me thinking about going all in. And then, a couple of weeks ago when you texted me and said, yep, I've signed up, I'm going to do it. It's like, so talk to people about, some of the things that you had to come to terms with to decide to go all in. Because I think it would be super helpful to share with people, particularly people that are, a little bit more mature in their lives. What take us through the all-in decision-making process.
well, part of it started from an article, and forgive me, I forgot his name, because I even went in LinkedIn. He wrote one, and the article was a little bit older, but this was a 70-year-old that packed up his bags and moved to London, and I think he was going to get his PhD. And I remember when I was getting my bachelor's, I had a professor that said, you guys, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. I'm going to be retiring, and 2 weeks after I retire, I am going to graduate, getting my PhD.
Wow.
And like I said, you have these people that just keep coming into your life. And my grandmother, actually, she got her bachelor's, I want to say somewhere around like 60 or 61 years old.
Oh my
And so, yeah, right.
God.
and,
Good.
and so I'm following suit. I'm getting my master's. And it was just timing. It was just the weirdest thing, because as I said, I was reading books. I was looking into all these different articles, connecting with LinkedIn people, and I was like, I'm already doing the studies. Might as well get academic credentials, anyways.
Right.
And so it was really quick. I asked a few online schools, and of course, Southeastern resonated for me because it was closer. And they just made it so simple, so quick. I got this sweet little advisor, Megan. She's so nice, and just so many people in Oklahoma. They're so nice. But yeah, I guess you find your tribe, because you can find them in California and Vegas and everywhere. And like you said, even internationally, on LinkedIn, I've got friends that are in Australia and Japan and everywhere. But anyways, and so it was super easy. They just said you just need to get all your transcripts and send them over. And that was all done electronically. And
Mm-hmm.
most colleges have that now. And, these are the classes that you need to take and you need to sign up for them. And I probably won't be on LinkedIn that much because I have a feeling it's going to be work, study, work, study, work, study. But I'm okay with that.
Right.
They have 2 year and 1 year and 2 year programs, accelerated, and then a 2 year program. So that's anybody to decide. But there's a lot of people that are doing, entrepreneurship. So my daughter that you were listening to while she was helping me prepare for this, she's considering opening up a little online business, and so
Mm-hmm.
she's looking into it. And then at this day and age, I mean, it is just too amazing. The living and learning. It's
Yeah.
like Google is there, and it's like Google knows all. It's like, do you want to learn how to do a video? Do you want to learn Excel? Do you want to learn how to get your business license? Just everything is right there at your
Right.
fingertips. We're at a day and age where you can't make an excuse for not learning.
Well, my reach out to your daughter Amanda would be if she wants to fast track any of that, because I'm all about simpler, faster, better. Then I would be delighted to help her in any way that I can. So just bear that in mind. But if she wants to do it herself, that's also cool as well. So
Yeah, definitely. And I'm seeing Gracie is saying my major. So I'm getting my master's in business, so general
right,
concentration. Yeah.
awesome. That'll give you a lot of flexibility down the road. So for
Yeah.
sure.
And
Right.
then the good thing for me, the other thing that my grandmother had taught me is, and this is a plaque that we had bought. Well, she didn't teach me, but she got the plaque for me, and we both laughed at it. And it's, if you learn to laugh at yourself, you'll never cease to be amused. And
Right.
so that has carried me throughout this. I'm sure I'm going to be using a lot when I get into this MBA program. When I had my bachelor's, when there was a window slot of trying to put in my paper that was due.
Mm-hmm.
And an hour before, I'm doing the dot in the I's and crossing the T's and making sure everything looks good and all this. And I was like, I got an hour, I'm good. And then all of a sudden, my laptop overheated and shut down.
Oh my
And
goodness.
then, oh my gosh. And it was, I was going to go crazy. So here's the neurotic me, just like, I can't do this. I can't do this. This is and we're trying to find it. And it hid my paper somewhere. And oh my gosh, it was just the craziest thing. And so the same thing, so I didn't handle it well. My inner child was having a tantrum, a big
Oh, for sure.
tantrum. And so here we are, years later. I did that in 2000, around 2004, 2006. I was turning in that paper. And now
Uh-huh.
here we are years later, and the same thing happened to me. So here I am trying to get my stuff together for getting
Right.
this master's at Southeastern, and I'm sitting here and I log into my laptop, and my desktop is gray. And
Oh,
I was just like, I was about ready to be old Diana. And I was just like, oh my God. And I just did what my dad had always practiced for me to do and forgot. And he always says, don't worry about making a home run. Just go one base at a time. And
right.
base is just take a deep breath
Mm-hmm.
and then assess. And assess is from a scale to 1 to 10. How bad is it? And so 10 being catastrophic, natural disaster kind of thing or accident or something like that. And then it's like when you do that, you really do get a perspective if you take that time to just do it. And then all of a sudden, you know, what was all stressing me out, it's like, okay, wait a minute. if my laptop just completely goes to kaput, I have other devices. I have backups. Yay for cloud,
Right.
all that
Sure.
sort of stuff. And so that really did calm myself down. And then I had to strategize, and I was like, okay, what can I do? Central, control alt delete and all this sort of stuff. And I got my phone, I got my troubleshooting, and I actually fixed it. And I actually stayed calm through the whole thing,
Awesome.
executed it, got my laptop up, and I was going, yay me. I actually took a step, forward into maturity and adulthood without going, getting so frantic over something that, really wasn't in the scheme of things of that scale of 1 to 10, it's more like a 3 or 4, but I could have escalated it to make it feel like it was a 9.
Okay. Well, I know you start class on Monday, and thank you for sharing your wisdom and part of your story. And if people would like to reach out to you, it's best through LinkedIn, right?
Yes, I'll go ahead and put in links. I'll even put in links for some of the books and the videos that I enjoyed that I think people might enjoy as well.
Right. Yeah. So watch out for that. If you're seeing this on the replay, Diana will put those in after we finish up here. And best wishes for Monday, Diana. So, and thanks, everyone. Thanks for the participation from Gracie and Sandy. Is that how she says it?
Yes, Sandy.
Yeah. All right. So if you just hang for a minute, thanks again, and fabulous Friday or Super Saturday.
Real quick. Right here. Can you see it?
Yeah.
I got that today. I'm actually going to be using it. Hopefully it'll help me with my schoolwork as well. But yeah, definitely. Thank you so much for this as well.
All right. Yeah. So Diana's referring to a little journal I put together. Did a brain dump of some of my process improvement stuff over the years. And also, so yeah, so reach out to Diana and see how it's working for her. And if you want one, she'll tell you how to get one. So, all right. All right.
Sounds good.
Thanks so much. Good night.
Good night.